Hey friends, and welcome back to Path of Exile for another update on our Herald of Thunder Poison League starter. Today we have made the transition to Original Sin, so we have that. We spent the currency. When I bought it a couple days ago, it was 61 divines. Now, if you want to know how I got those divines, I will share that in a future video, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and get subscribed. As for what the transition did for us, so we have Original Sin now. We no longer need Despair. We no longer need the gloves that we had, so we're going to get Storm's Gift instead with Temporal Chains on hit. Because we no longer need Despair, we were also able to change our passive tree quite a bit. So we no longer needed Whispers of Doom because we only need one curse. So we unspec'd all of these, which is 4 points, and then we spec'd those over here. So we got 1, 2, grabbed Transcendent Mind, which is going to give us a bunch of damage over time multi. And I think in order to kind of avoid the negative impact of this jewel, what you can do is use tattoos and change all of these intelligence to anything else. Like anything else works. So we changed all those to anything except intelligence, the ones we had allocated. Then all the unallocated intelligence adds to the damage over time multi that we're getting, which is 18%. The other 2 points we used over here, and for this one we grabbed another damage over time, chaos damage over time multi duel. We might end up replacing this with a blue dream or blue nightmare. It's not going to give us much in the way of effects for its passive effects, but getting elemental damage or lightning damage as chaos damage is actually a big deal for us. So that's where the changes are there. The last change that we made is switching to Original Sin. It means that we're converting all of our elemental damage to chaos damage, and it means that we can use Void Manipulation support instead. So we grabbed an Awakened Void Manipulation and we're leveling that up. We'll take a look at the POB a bit later, but the damage has been more than doubled from not using Original Sin, and this is a couple of things that are going on. Number one, we no longer have a huge nerf to our poison duration from the last gloves that we were using. Number two, because we don't need that curse, we're getting a bunch of extra damage from the 4 nodes we were able to reallocate. So just to show the build in action, we're going to run a quick Phoenix map, and then with that Phoenix fragment, we'll do a quick Shaper. Well, hopefully quick. But right now, if I remember correctly, the build is somewhere between 6 and 7 million DPS. And that's, again, assuming everything is going right, so less DPS, more combined DPS. One thing to keep in mind here is that we now need to kill something in order to get our storm going. So what we're doing is using Writhing Jar to do exactly that. Oh, looks like I don't have Withering Step on. Hold on. Put that on real quick. There we go. Alright. Doors are the worst. And once we get it going in a map, we're usually pretty good for the entirety of the map. We don't have to reactivate it or worry about it, because anything we kill is also then shocked. And so we don't have to refresh the buff very often. In scenarios where you're not killing a bunch, you may have to refresh the buff and just hit Writhing Jar before your storm runs out, and your storm will automatically hit those worms and take them out, and then you'll be good to go for a while. It's actually a really nice setup. Where is a bunch of things that are immune to damage in here? There we go. Yeah, that's the mapping experience, with me being really bad at clicking doors. And never done. I'm gonna go ahead and grab these while we're here. Essences are a big portion of how I gathered the currency to get Original Sin, but I'll go over that again in that next video. Okay, so let's do a shaper real quick just to further demonstrate what the build is looking like. This is not going to be an uber shaper. Just want to show... We're really just looking to show what the build looks and feels like in bossing scenarios. So, activate our storm. Keep it going every now and then. And at this point, we've taken out Galvanic Field and we've put in Wither if we ever need it. And we're using Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning is just applying or giving us a chance to apply Wither stacks more than anything else. And that's coming from our Ascendancy. We also have Plague Bearer, but I'm really bad about activating it. Here we go. Fine. Oh. Okay. Since we've got nothing else to do here. Oh, right. Hopefully I don't die here to getting caught in a beam. Get caught in the beam a little bit and survived anyway. Nice. Something that is very nice for Shaper fights is we switched our Poison Ascendancy quite a while back. So I no longer deal 300 damage, 300% increased damage with poison to unpoisoned enemies. I would change that to the poisoned enemies cannot crit. Not quite crit immunity, but it's really close and it's very nice to have. One thing I forgot to mention is that the change to Original Sin also changed our gloves from armor energy shield bases to evasion energy shield bases. This is actually really, really great because it allows us to take the evasion mastery that gives us 15 spell suppress if all of our gear has evasion on it. So we took that. Right, watch out for the beam. Oh, I ran into a ball. And there we go. We died once because I ran into a ball. And during that time it very well could have crit me because there were no poisons on Shaper. So yeah. Just to point out what I said earlier, these are now evasion energy shield bases, which are better for our entire build. But it also allowed us to grab 15% spell suppress if they all have evasion rating, rather than the increased evasion from body armor. That was really, really great for us. So yeah, that's how the build plays. Now switching over to POB, let's take a look at what all of our numbers look like. So we're gonna go ahead and import my character, acid train and damage. And you can see right off the bat, we haven't done anything, and our damage number is already higher than it was before Original Sin. But we're going to go ahead and switch this to Guardian Pinnacle, which doesn't change our damage number at all. And then Withered stacks 10, even though we should definitely be able to hit 15. And then Flask Active puts us up to 6.6. And little bonus here, I don't know why, but this node is never activated when you import in POB. I have no clue why, but if you look here, it's most definitely there, right? So I'm not sure why that happens. You notice it, go ahead and click that on. So we're just above 7.1 combined DPS, and poison DPS is at 158k. Some next steps here, if you are interested in doing them, is we are going to start heading toward Discord Artisan, I believe. Thought I'd already taken... Oh no, yeah, we're gonna start heading toward Discord Artisan. We also got the Reservation Mastery for increased damage for each aura. So those are our next 3 levels or so. Another route we could take is unspecking this node, taking this node instead, and then grabbing Steeped in Profane, which is another good DPS boost. And yeah, that's about it. The other things that we can do for the build are focus on defenses. So this number is very, very comfortable for a lot of things. And while I think the build is very comfortable for bossing, some of you might be intimidated by the Bismax hit. Now, part of this is I have none of the flasks active, but if this bothers you and if this worries you, focusing on getting more chaos res is going to be huge there, and then doing things like changing some of our resists around. So our Helmet has lightning and chaos resist right now. Instead of that, you could do Fizz taken as and get your Fizz max hit up. You could do a Taste of Hate. Not Forbidden Taste, Taste of Hate. For a pretty sizable boost in Fizz max hit. And you could also do Progenesis for a nice little boost. I think I'm approaching the point where I'm finished with this build and I'm just going to use it to farm for other builds. I'm very happy with how this build turned out. The only thing that's tempting me right now is farming up for a Mage Blood, as that's an item I've never had before. But if you have any questions or thoughts, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you think of this build and how your build is treating you. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.